Hello everyone, welcome to ShailajaIAS and welcome to the PYQ Decoder class. This is Subash. Today we are discussing with the medieval history. We are continuing with the history. First we saw complete syllabus breakdown and the strategy session. Then in the next two classes we discussed with respect to ancient history, the last 5-year themes and micro topics which has been asked in the ancient history, ancient Indian history. Now in the class 4 we'll decode with respect to medieval Indian history, how questions have been framed and how UPSC examiner is focusing on which micro themes and which topic in those themes in medieval Indian history. So medieval Indian history roughly starts after 7th 8th century, okay, after the fall of Harshavardhana Empire, and here that Pandya, Chola, Cheras, okay, the first empire will get down. Then after the fall of these empires, there is a tripartite struggle, right? After the fall of Harshavardhana also, for a Kannauj, there is a tripartite struggle. Rashtrakutas in the Deccan, okay, Palas in the Bengal, Gurjara Pratiharas in the west, they are fighting for the Kannauj region. So from there medieval history it will go till the Bahmanis, okay, the arrival of Mughals, okay, entire Mughals, and the Marathas, okay, its confederacy, and the Mysore kingdom. It includes also the regional empire, like you have with Vijayanagara empire you have Hoysalas, okay, you have Bahmani kingdom in the south. In the northern kingdom you have all other small regional kingdoms that are established in this establishment before the Mughal empire coming into all over India to rule. So we'll begin one by one. We'll see which are the micro topics through last 5 years PYQs. So medieval India, in this class we'll see which are the important themes of medieval Indian history. The first theme is medieval India and regional dynasties after the fall of Harshavardhana or 7th 8th century. After the fall, you need to know the timeline, you need to know the geography, you need to know administration, economy, society, who are the poets, who are the main kings and who are the poets, what are the works, all these things you have to know 360 degree. That's how history has to be studied. Chalo, we'll begin. So early medieval India, who led a successful military campaign against the kingdom of Srivijaya, the powerful maritime state ruling the Malay Peninsula, Sumatra and Java, asked in 2025. So asked in 2025, my friends. So who led the successful military campaign against the kingdom of Srivijaya? Please comment, okay, in the YouTube, which is the kingdom of Srivijaya. Okay, who had a powerful maritime state? Who in the south had powerful maritime state? Cholas, right? If you know Cholas had a very strong navy, you'll get the answer directly. You need not know even the king directly because he has asked king from every other kingdom, from the Rashtrakutas, from Kakatiya, from Hoysala, from Chola. So answer, if you know which powerful kingdom had a very powerful navy, then you will be able to arrive at the answer. It is Cholas, right? Rajendra I. Okay, in the 11th century, Rajendra Chola launched a massive expedition against Srivijaya Empire to secure Chola routes to China and Southeast Asia. Therefore, his fleet captured the king Sangrama, Vijayatunga Varman and several key posts, establishing the Chola Navy and making sure it's also called as Indian Ocean, also called as Chola Ocean or Chola Navy Ocean because of the strong naval build-up by the Chola kingdom. And Rajendra I was the king here who had a powerful maritime navy. Clear? Understood the theme? Early medieval India, okay, with respect to Rashtrakuta, Cholas, Gurjara Pratiharas, Palas, then Rashtrakutas were feudatories of Chalukyas, okay, then Cholas came in the south, then Kakatiyas of Warangal, Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra. Questions have been asked around these kingdoms, these themes, time and again in UPSC. Next question we'll see, again the regional dynasties with respect to that timeline has been asked. So what is the question? How many of the following dynasties established their kingdoms in the early 8th century? That is early 700 centuries. 8th century, right? Early 700s. Early 700s, which of the kingdoms have been established? So, 2023 May, this question came. Hoysalas, Gahadawala, Kakatiyas of Warangal, Yadavas. See, Hoysalas came in 25 also. Kakatiyas came in 25 also. Gahadawala, it can come in 2026. That kingdom, important kings and all the 360 degree. Okay, administration, regional timings, okay, mapping, important places of Gahadawala kingdom, of Hoysala kingdom. Okay, who are the famous king? What are their works? Becomes very important. Kakatiyas, Yadavas. Who were in the early 8th centuries? No one. Why? All the listed dynasties came very later. Okay, Hoysalas, 10th century. Okay, Hoysalas, Kakatiyas and Yadavas became prominent after 10th century only, 11th and 12th century. Gahadawala also 11th century only. So, it's very important. You need to know timeline framework as well as space. Okay, what all things changed in the geography of India, historical geography as well as timeline of the regional dynasties becomes very important. Every year 1 or 2 question is coming either in ancient history or in medieval history, but prominently in medieval Indian history. All these kingdoms, okay, arrived in the late 10th or 11th century. Early 7th, 8th century, this kingdom were still not existing. So here, answer will be none of the above. This was asked in 2023, my friends. So we'll see similar question asked again in 2022. Who says themes won't repeat? Themes do get repeated in UPSC time and again. Okay, 22 it was asked, 23 it was asked. Okay, 25, a modified version of that was asked. He asked with respect to the kingdom, okay, military campaign, but the options are almost same. The themes are revolving around the same kingdoms. Okay, now we'll see how many pairs are correctly matched. Here, he has asked ruler and kingdom. He has asked what? Ruler and kingdom. Ruler kingdom matching. In the earlier question, kingdom timeline matching. 2023 year, ruler kingdom matching. In 2025, which ruler linked to what act? Who defeated? Timeline again. All these are timeline questions or historical geography linked with the space. Okay, during that time, what main geographical incident happened? Which new ports came? Okay, which new military administration came? Okay, which new revenue system came? Becomes very important. New book, new society, new culture, new art, new economical systems which came into place becomes important. So here, Nanuka, Chandela, yes, right. Okay. Jayashakti, Paramara, no, it's not Paramara. Nagabhatta, Gurjara Prartyaras, yes. Sorry. Yes, this is right. Nagabhatta, Gurjara Prartyara. Boja is not Rashtrakuta. He is also Gurjara Pratyara. Okay. They have swapped. Okay. Rashtrakutas. Who is the famous king? Dantidurga was the founder. Amoghavarsha, Drupatunga was the famous king. So, Boja was not a Rashtrakuta king. Here, 2 pair. Only 2 pair. Normally, my friends, when they swap, remember, when they swap, 2 statements will be wrong and 2 statements will be right. And answer generally, normally will be 2 pairs. Generally, it will be 2 pairs. If you are able to find out that they have swapped in the options, make sure, okay, you check with these 2 pairs because other 2 pairs will generally be correct. Use your knowledge, and if you are not able to get through the knowledge, then if you know that 2 statements have been swapped, normally what will be the answer? 2 pairs. Not in all the case, but generally how UPSC does is this. How they set the options is this way. They'll keep the 2 options wrong and 2 options right. Normally what will be the answer? With this kind of statement questions, 2 pair. You saw none of the above also. See, that's why first knowledge, then common sense, Okay, then you apply the logic. There if you have seen, okay, 2 pair if they are swapped, then also you might have gone to 2 pair and it would be none of the above. But there was no other options were swapped with each other. All the 4 options they had given wrong answers. So there it was, in the last question it was none of the above. Here you can see the swap. Okay, Gurjara Pratyaras is Boja, Mihir Boja, right? So only 2 pairs. Pair 1 and 3 are correct. Nanuka founded the Chandela kingdom, correct. Nagabhatta to Gurjara Pratyara ruler. Jayashakti was also Chandela, not Paramara. Okay. Jayashakti, no? Also Chandela kingdom, not Paramara. And King Boja was a Paramara or Gurjara Pratyara, Mihir Boja, right? They have not given properly who is the, he is Mihir Boja or just King Boja. King Boja is a Paramara. If he is a Mihir Boja, he is Gurjara Pratyara king, but not Rashtrakuta king. Clear? I hope it is understood. We'll go to next question, my friends. Now, historical geography asked in this theme only, regional kingdoms. What he has asked here, capital, medieval India kingdoms, capital and state. Asked in 2020. Is theme not repeating, my friends? Yes, themes are repeating, but only if your eyes are open and if you are able to see how UPSC is asking around the same theme again and again. Okay, not the same question. Questions will never come the same, but if your eyes are open when you are studying, revising, you know that what are the themes is asking around. How regional identities or historical geography questions are coming repeated again and again. 23, 25, 22, 2020. So 2026 also you can expect one question coming from historical geography and regional kingdoms coming with respect to the timeline and important rulers and the work with respect to that timeline. Here, which of the following pairs are correctly matched? Bilsa, MP, yes, Bilsa Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh. Bilsa is ancient name of Vidisha. Dwarasamudra, Dwarasamudra of which kingdom? Hoysalas, again asked, right sir? Hoysalas how many times? 4 times it's been there in the options. Dwarasamudra of Hoysalas, it is in Karnataka, not Maharashtra. Girinagar, yes, famous Girinagar, Hen, Koli, okay, Giriraj, understand? That is right. Girinagar, Junagadh, Girinagar is Junagadh, Junagadh kingdom. Right, famous Girinagar hen. Okay, you might have read in, okay, current affairs with respect to this one. Gujarat, yes. Staneshwar, is it UP? No. Where is Staneshwar? In Haryana. Taneshwar is in Haryana. So here also, what is the answer? 1 and 3. 1 and 3 is option A or 2 pair. Earlier it was options, now he has made pairs. He'll give 2 wrong generally, 2 statements right. Okay, generally, then 2 pairs will be correct. And those 2 options normally will swap it. Okay, the 1 and 3 will swap or 2 and 4 he will swap and 2 pairs will be right, 2 pairs will be wrong. Here answer will be 1 and 3. Chalo, we'll see the next question. Now, okay, mainly in medieval India, South Indian kingdoms, okay, and the tripartite struggle with respect to Bengal Palas, Rashtrakutas, okay, and Gurjara Pratyas. Along with that, the other kingdoms, okay, Pallavas will be in the early ancient kingdom as well as the medieval. The Cholas becomes very prominent, okay, Hoysalas, okay, of Dwarasamudra, Belur, Alebeedu, all these kingdoms, small regional kingdoms becomes very important. Then the conquest, okay, then the conquest of Delhi Sultanates, okay, Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori, then comes the slave dynasty, okay, after that Iltutmish, the Khalji dynasty, then the Tughlaq, Sayyids, Lodi, after that the Babur comes, okay, that we'll see later. Now the complete, okay, Delhi Sultanates starting from slave dynasty, Qutbuddin Aibak becomes very important. We'll see how the themes have been set in the last 5 years with respect to UPSC questions, okay. Mainly, they've asked again with respect to slave dynasty, other dynasties, administration, military, okay, society, culture. How was the society there? The timeline has been linked properly. Okay, we'll see one by one. With respect to Delhi Sultanate, consider the following statements. Which of the following are correct, he has asked. The first Mongol invasion of India happened during the reign of Jalaluddin Khilji. Is it? Jalaluddin Khilji. See, this history, it is a fact. If you have read it, you will be able to analyze. Okay. Otherwise, you can't answer without proper knowledge of history. So, random guessing without having any logic here you will get wrong. You will not be able to get the right answer by just guessing blindly. So, first Mongol invasion, what happened? Again, see the timeline. Who was the king here in India? Iltutmish. Iltutmish was the king. Please tell me the timeline also. When was Iltutmish king? Please message in the YouTube comment section. Okay. Jalaluddin Khilji is not a right option. It's actually wrong. Iltutmish was the king when the first Mongol invasion happened. So statement 1 is wrong. During the reign of Alauddin Khilji, one Mongol assault marched up to Delhi and besieged the city. Yes, during the reign of Alauddin Khilji, Mongol invasion happened and Alauddin Khilji, to save himself, okay, he was locked himself in the Delhi. Statement 2 is correct. In 1303, Targhi's army besieged Delhi, forcing Alauddin Khilji into Siri fort in order to save himself from the Mongol invasion. Muhammad bin Tughlaq temporarily lost portions of northwest part of India or of his kingdom to the Mongols. Again, this statement is very factually wrong. Why? Muhammad bin Tughlaq led a campaign against Mongols and it was successful also. Up to a certain extent, it was successive. The counter attack by Muhammad bin Tughlaq was successive. However, you know Muhammad bin Tughlaq, okay, the famous, he came down south. Okay, because of that, he weakened the army and he weakened the kingdom, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So here, what is the answer? Here only statement 2 is right, statement 1 is wrong, statement 3 is wrong. So answer will be 2 only or 1 pair. This is the question asked in 2022, my friends. Okay. We'll go through next question. With respect to social history during Delhi Sultanates. With reference to Indian history, who of the following were known as Kulah-Daran? Kulah-Daran. Asked in again 2022, Arab merchants, Qalandars, Persian calligraphists and Sayyids. See, this is very factual question. Only if you have read the terminologies, right? Terminologies in history, ancient and medieval history mainly becomes very important. Okay, who were called who were yuktas, okay, what is mansab, all these terminologies becomes important, and UPSC has a knack of asking 1-2 questions with respect to terminologies. Who were known as Kulah-Darans? Answer is Sayyids. Option D, Sayyids. Kulah-Daran means a big cap, okay, cap bearers. Kulah-Daran. The Sayyids who claimed a descent from the Prophet wore a distinctive pointed cap. Okay, like this maybe pointed cap. They wore Kulah during the Delhi Sultanate period. That's why they were known as Kulah-Darans. The Sayyids. Okay. Very interesting history point asked in 2022 with respect to Sayyids. So it becomes important with respect to the features of Qalandars, okay, Persian calligraphies, which all the works of Indian authors and Indian books were converted into Persian, you need to know. And any unique features of Arab merchants also becomes important. UPSC won't keep the options without framing questions with those options which might be repeated in the coming exams. Whatever questions they might have set in the last 3-4 years might get repeated with respect to options. So make sure you go through those options and make small notes, especially of last 5-6 years. Now, again with respect to Delhi Sultanates, we'll see. It was during the reign of, asked in 2021. Mongol invasion asked in 2022. Again, it was asked before here in 2021. It was during the reign of Iltutmish that Genghis Khan reached the Indus in the pursuit of the fugitive Khwarezm prince. Yes, this is exactly correct. That's why the first Mongol invention, when he said, happened during Jalaluddin Khilji in the last question becomes wrong. However, Iltutmish didn't want to offend Genghis Khan. So, to this fugitive prince, he didn't give any refuge. Refuge was not given. It was during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq that Taimur occupied Multan and crossed the Indus. Did he cross the Indus? Previous question only we discussed. Muhammad bin Tughlaq had a successive assault, counter-offensive. So statement 2 is wrong. Then it was during the reign of Devaraya II of Vijayanagara Empire that Vasco da Gama reached the coast of Kerala. Devaraya II died long before. Vasco da Gama came in 1498, right? But Devaraya died in 1420, 30s only. This statement also is timeline statement and factually wrong. Factually wrong. So, what is the answer here? Only one pair of first option. Iltutmish famously refused asylum to the Khwarezm prince in 1221, preventing a Mongol invasion. Taimur invaded 1398, not during Muhammad bin Tughlaq's era. Post Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Vasco da Gama arrived in 1498. Who was there? Saluva kingdom. Okay, Saluva dynasty. Immadi Narasimha was there. Okay, Devaraya died before only in 1420s or 1430s. So answer here will be one only. Timeline questions again with respect to Mongol invasion. So you can see 2021 it was asked. Again it was asked in 2022. Okay. Same themes, same historical timelines linked with the dynasty and kings, okay, and the events. I hope this has been helpful. From the last 6 years with respect to medieval history, first 2 themes, these questions have come. Revise, go through these themes, okay, go through the questions, go through the options, make sure you make note of the options also, and remember the themes are repeating again and again. Till then, take care. We'll see you in the next class.